going.
This
Okay.
conference will now be recorded.
All right, this is Stan Melogranda, Village of Winnebago Police Committee Chairman. We are doing this meeting virtual. It is now 5:33.
You're here.
And I am here at the Village Hall. So we're going to call the meeting to order. There is no public comment. Oh, we do have Julie O'Rourke and Don Kimes and
Sally Bennett
Bennett
and Nick Half.
and Nick Half, and
This is
Chief
Jeff
White.
White.
And nobody signed up for public comment. Any disclosure, conflict of interest?
No.
Hearing none, we'll move to number 4, approve minutes from August 27th, 2020 and October 1st, 2020.
So hopefully you guys got those. We're able to review them.
Yes.
Sorry for the delay. I was late on getting those out. I thought those had to be approved at the regular board meeting, but apparently they have to be approved here. Apparently I got
Yes.
used to doing the cow meetings, so where they were
Yes.
approved there. So
I have read both minutes from August the 27th and October the 1st, and I move that we accept them.
I guess officially I second, but I do have a question on them. On the August 27 minutes, number 5, I don't understand the first sentence. I'm just wondering if we could edit that a little bit to make it more clear. It says, went the original acquisition of,
okay, I'll fix that.
what are you trying to say there?
I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't.
If you don't know, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
This must have been those cell phones from what I can gather from FirstNet or something.
From the first batch, yeah.
So if we're, I think what we're saying here is you had a free cell phone trial and it didn't really work and you're returning them. I mean, just if you could just edit the notes so they're a little more clear, then I would go ahead and accept them.
Yeah. Well, don't approve that one. I'll fix that. I'll reword that and then I'll put it for next time.
So we're gonna
You are you with
do October
are you good with
1st.
the October 1st one, Julie?
Yeah, I did, and I'm fine with those.
Don, you want to modify your motion?
Well, when corrected on August 27th, item 5, first sentence.
Yeah, I think we could probably approve them and then you don't have to bring them back again. Just, edit it up
Approve-
and then send it
approve
out.
with corrections?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's anything material.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing that.
Yep.
All right.
I read
we'll
'em.
do everybody's good with it. We'll do a roll call on number 4, the approval of the minutes. Don Kimes,
Yes.
Julie O'Rourke,
Yes.
and myself, Stan Melogranda. Everybody in favor, say aye.
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 Number 5 is update on Randy Smith.
So Randy stopped by here the other day. He has to have a procedure, and I think he was having it Tuesday, my understanding. He's got a recovery period, where his doctor said after November 12th, he could return to work. But the paperwork he had showed a check mark in the no restriction box, but then the doctor had handwritten in restrictions about lifting so much and then using his left arm. So basically I told Randy his clear date as of the document that I saw was December 10th. So I explained to him that Mary Gaziano would in no way, shape, or form allow him to return to work with a restriction. And we have really no light duty work for him. So either he needs to have his documentation corrected to where if he can work without limitation on November 12th, that's fine. But I think it's going to be more out to the December 10th date that he might be able to return without restriction.
So is he on disability now, Jeff, or what?
Yeah, he's on disability. The documentation that he had brought to me was IMRF temporary disability documents. And it had to be signed by the doctor and all that stuff. And I just know the discrepancy on the fact that the doctor marked could return to work, no restrictions in a checkbox, but then listed a restriction of 10 pounds, no lifting of his left arm. I said, so basically he's saying you don't have restrictions, but you do because you wrote them in. I said, so, and I can almost guarantee you what Mary Gonzalez was going to say, the way the document's written. He said he was going to take it back and get it corrected, but the dates I saw on it were November 12th to return to work, light duty with that limited restriction, or December 10th. I think he might be released without restriction.
Okay.
We'll have to wait and see, but that's kind of the way I see it for now.
Okay.
When did he have the procedure?
When? I think it was Tuesday of this week.
He's off until December 10th. Take it from me.
Yeah, I'm kind of guessing that, but I was just going by the documents he showed me and what the doctor had marked and written. So,
Yep.
he was supposed to get a correction on that. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure, just like Mike Munn, that he wasn't allowed to return to work until he was completely restriction free. So
That's right.
that's kind of the way it went.
All right, we'll move on to number 6, update on new hires.
So I have somebody in mind to hire, and Julie and I have spoken about this. I have a candidate I would like to present a proposal to hire, contingent on the fact that he passes a psychological examination. But the thing that falls in is the wage that we had spoke about. My proposal is to starting in at a wage at 23 instead of the 20 because of his years of experience in law enforcement in Illinois. I also suggested that 6 months if everything goes fine the first 6 months, they add 50 cents to his pay scale. And then at a year, he get another 50 cents. So within a year, he would be at $24 an hour. That's kind of what my thought process was. I see Julie's ready to say something.
Oh, my dog was going nuts, so I put it on mute.
Oh, okay. I mean, if there's any disagreement, please let me know. That's kind of what I was looking at. And if somebody disagrees with that, I know I think they usually do a year probation. And I just figured to try and be more of an incentive for that person to come here, and do the 50 cents at 6 months and 50 cents at a year. And then if there's any raises that come in next year, they would not be eligible for those. If there's a percentage raise or whatever is decided through the budget process, if anything were to happen, that person would not be eligible for any of those raises until the year 2022 budget that comes out.
I just am not sure, Sally, I don't know if you know, committee can recommend this. Does it have to go to the board, or I don't even know how this conforms to our policy, if there is such a policy.
I believe the board has to approve that plan.
And what's the timeline, Jeff, on the process? I mean, he has to go through the evaluation. When would he be ready to accept an offer?
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to have to be after the board meeting next, if they allow me to put that out to that person. So they're going to have to approve me to give that offer out, I would believe, if I'm understanding Sally Bennett correctly. So they would have to approve that first, and then I would offer it to him. Like I said, contingent on the fact that he passed a psychological examination. So I guess the board meeting is the 9th of November. So we have to put that out on the board meeting for November, see if we can get board approval, and then I can offer that to that person.
Check 115-10. I'm having issues with my radio.
All right, is there a need to try to expedite it?
Well, I would kind of like to, I'd like to get that offer out there as soon as I can, so if the person decides to take it or not take it, then I have to figure out my other options.
Yeah. And I don't know, I mean, we can always reach out to Frank to see if we can do some kind of a special, and I don't know if this has to be executive session, Sally, I guess not, since we're talking about it right now in open session, but
My understanding is as long as the name of a person is not brought up, it's just a potential new hire. That's my understanding.
and does this wage fall in line with the guys that are here and how many years they have and all of that?
It's a little bit lower than where they're at. Yes, I would say it's pretty much in line. Some of the guys here have more experience. He has less of the guys. Well, one person would have less here, but more experience throughout the years. I'm just trying to get it so it's, a little more enticing to the candidate. I mean, because I know for a fact right now he's making quite a bit more than what I would be offering him. So.
And why would he come for less? What's his?
I can only guess, but not liking the things that are occurring there where he's currently at.
Well, Stan, I don't know. I guess we can take a vote on this and approve it at the committee level and then take it up as a board for approval or whatever.
That's correct. I need a motion to be able to approve it, and then it'll go to the board meeting on the 9th.
I would make the motion to approve so we're talking about hiring at 23.
Right.
And then a 50-cent raise in 6 months and another 50 cent in a year.
Right.
With no raises the next year, and then he kind of goes in the fold with everyone else.
Yeah, there would be no raise for that person through the year 2021.
And this is in recognition that we haven't been able to find anybody or hire anybody, and we're just probably out of whack in the wage range at this point. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye, and then we'll do a roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay.
All right, so Don Kimes is a yes. Do I
Yeah.
take it correct? Julie O'Rourke?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we'll bring that up at the November 9th meeting then. Number 7, equipment purchases. Oh, is there any other?
No, that's
Number 7, equipment purchases.
So we spoke about replacing an older computer in the squad room the last time, and we have ordered that piece of equipment with new monitors for it, and the cost is not to exceed $1,200. So if we could just get approval from you guys to purchase that computer and not to exceed the $1,200 limit, I think we'd be in good shape.
And that's out of what line item?
That would be out of computer and office equipment. 512.
Okay. And there was money in there, right?
Yeah, there's that's my new budget sheet. There it is. 512. It has $1,520 in it.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the computer, the update of the computer and the 2 monitors, not to exceed 1,200.
Or second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Do a roll call. Be Julie O'Rourke,
Yes.
Don Kimes,
Yes.
Stan Malagranda, yes.
Good.
Okay,
Well,
move on to number 8.
Hey, Stan, can I go back to equipment purchases one quick second?
Sure.
I know in Sally Huggins' budget, the numbers that she gave us, Jeff, she had phones in the salary lines. I'm not sure why. There's probably a reason, but I know you're talking about doing the cell phone.
I can actually explain that to you. So the $1,200 was put into the salary line item because it was paying, at the time, last year, it was paying the chief and the sergeant $50 a month of the cost of their personal cell phones usage.
Oh, okay, and you just got it as regular wages then?
Well, it was in there that way, you know, and
Okay.
we could probably take that if we had to out of the salary line item, because I'm sure that's probably still figured in there. But I put it in a different line item, I think. I think I put in a line item with, all right, where's that?
Yeah, there's a cell phone 553. You put 1220. I'm just wondering where we are with those cell phones. Was that approved and did we decide to buy the phones or where
No,
are we
we
at
haven't
with
done
that?
anything with it. Yeah, it was under cell phones because I added $1,200 because it would cover the cell cards that we have and the computers in the car. So there's 3 of those, and those run like $35 to $37 a month, I believe. And then the 2 cell phones. I've been trying to reach out to a representative from Verizon to see what kind of costs we can get involved with that. If you go by what Public Works is spending right now per cell phone, it's like $56, and I think Sally Bennett told us last time it would run about an extra $125 a month for the 2 phones. Is that right, Sally? That sound right?
I actually have the phone bill in front of me. What was your question?
So I think the phones for Public Works are running like what, like $55 or $56 each per month.
$58.91.
Okay, 58. And you said it would add $125 per month, right, for the billing if we were to get 2 phones for the police officers, the sergeant and the chief?
Yeah, roughly. I mean, with these numbers, it's 117, but yeah, you probably round it up, which I would say that's a good guess, 125.
So 125 times 12.
1,500.
Yeah, I can't do that in my head.
Well,
How much
I have
was
my calculator.
So 1,500 plus the 1,500, so that still leaves, I might have to bump that number up a little bit to get to about 3,000 in the line item for the cell phones.
And that'll cover the squads and the 2 personal ones.
Yeah, because I think it's running around $35 per cell card per month. So 35 times 3 times 12.
That's more than that. Oh, no, I'm
Actually,
sorry.
3801 per car.
Okay, 3801. So 3801 times 12, or times 3 times 12.
That's
So that's 1368. So you're right. We need about $3,000 in there.
I need about 3,000 in that line item to cover the cost of that. That's if the phones come in at that cost, you know, just roughly. I'm trying to, if I can get a hold of somebody from Verizon, I can get a number on and I can solidify that a little bit better.
So 58 is for a phone and the service per month.
Yeah, and that's the question. It would just be the service right now, and I don't know if there'd be a cost for the phone or not. That's why I'm going to try and make a deal with Verizon to see if we maybe get the phone for, 99 cents or $1, and then just pay the service monthly. Since they're going to be used specifically for law enforcement, for first responder, maybe I could talk them into it. I don't know, but I
Okay.
thought it's worth a shot at least.
Yeah.
Was that it, Julie?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, move on to number 8, budget.
So a couple of us here haven't seen the numbers. You and I have been working back and forth with it. Just trying to get a handle on where we're at. I think we're fairly close. Other than a couple things that Julie suggested, I had taken out the complete budget line item for the office administrative assistant. She's probably right and probably suggesting we leave something in there. Last year it was $6,500, a little over $6,500, which not a big hit in the budget, but because of the things that occurred throughout this year, we didn't really get a lot of usage out of that person for that $6,500. I kind of felt I had to spend that money because that was in the budget and that helped pay that person's salary, and I agree with that. That's fine. I just don't see it for next year, but if eventually people are in here long enough to they can be trusted. I mean, because there's a lot of information up front office of personal information for people of the village. I'm just concerned that there's a lot more back here. So if we want to put that amount back in there, I don't know what the numbers have come through for 2 part-timers. Obviously, the cost of healthcare benefits or all that's not going to be included in that. But I believe the wage for those people can be a little higher just to get somebody in here, from what I've heard through conversations. I don't know what those numbers are coming in at. I know there's a premium paid to the first staffing, I believe. So I don't know what that exactly. I know I did see an email come through from Frank. Doesn't really say budget numbers or anything. Do you have any more information on that, Sally?
No, we've been waiting for Frank to sign the contract with First.
Okay.
And he did that yesterday, and Kelly was out today, but we will be consulting with First on getting an ad put out. So we really haven't discussed with them anymore about the wage per hour. We just know what the board approved at the last meeting, which was, I believe, up to $17.50.
Yeah, and I think some of that might be discussed in the supervisor meeting coming up tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. I saw Frank's agenda, but I kind of flew through it real quick.
I think that meeting's next week.
Oh, is it next week? Oh, good. I get a reprieve for tomorrow then, huh? All the other meetings I've been going to.
Hey, Sally, let me ask you this. So, the general fund is the general fund. Obviously, the police have been, in my mind, a little shortchanged here for probably more than a year with our inability to really give them the time that gets in the cost portion into their budget. And I think we could all recognize that. But if we put all of the administrative assistant salary into general and maybe some at what's the other one? O&M, or is that right? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah. Does it matter? Does it really matter if it's in police or general? It's all in the same general fund bucket.
I guess it would only matter if, the department heads felt like they weren't, like Jeff felt this year, like he was paying and he wasn't getting any support. Or I don't know. I think the dividing line in the general fund is just, each department trying to get their portion. So I don't really have any
Okay.
advice.
Well, maybe I can talk to Frank a little bit about it to see it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's one general fund. It's an expense that's going to be incurred. And the reality, Sally, I think you'd probably agree, is police aren't going to get any time from this person for probably the first 6 months of the year. I mean, first we got to get them hired, then we got to get basic stuff figured out. They're not going to be ready to do anything for police probably till June, and that's if we get them in timely or quickly.
Right, unless it's something very general that Jeff would feel comfortable with, just writing a letter or something of that nature. But I agree.
Yeah.
It would probably be a while before they would be police ready.
And Jeff, I think that's one thing
And
Go
I'm
ahead.
just going to go by what Frank kind of mentioned his, not to eliminate that line item out of the police budget currently anyway. So I'll do whatever you want. I just wanted to voice my opinion. I thought that, this year was kind of few and far between that we got use of that person. A few things got done, yes. A lot of things we're not going to be doing anymore. So there's a lot less. I think there's quite a bit less to do. Could I find some duties for somebody? Yeah. But it'd be accessing records that are sensitive, juvenile records and stuff like that. And I don't feel comfortable with bringing somebody back here that's working for the village on a part-time basis. And that's just my feeling and my thought. If somebody else thinks otherwise, maybe I'm too cautious. I'm not sure, but I'm just trying to voice what I feel and how I think. So, I mean, I would gladly add in, $5,000 in an office salary just to have it. But
I guess 2 points I could make is that a year is a long time, so you may want to have it in there just in case. But the other point is, I guess there would be an expected level of supervision. So, that I think would be fine if someone is in the same room or supervising in some way to, I don't think we should hand them the keys to the kingdom or anything like that, but, I mean.
But the only thing that I run into is I can't guarantee we're always going to have somebody here at the office when work needs to be done back here.
Mhm.
I mean, sure, could we not allow them access when there's nobody here? Sure, we can lock the doors and not give them a key. That's no problem. They would just have to work around the schedule when officers are here and when they have time to do it, and then it'd be supervised by someone.
I think the main point here is, Jeff, I think, we've talked before or chatted with email. You need to come up with what duties, many duties have been eliminated, it sounds like. So what duties would you need? And is it an hour a week? Is it 2 hours? Is it, what do you need somebody to do? And keep in mind, I completely agree with what Frank said at the board meeting. He does not want to pay a sergeant or a chief of police those salaries to be making copies or doing reports that could be done by administrative assistants.
Yeah, see, that's part of the thing. A lot of the stuff is held electronically now. And a lot of copies will not have to be made anymore because we can download it out of the system as a PDF document and forward it right to the state attorney's office without having any copies being made. We are not printing a lot of documents now, so there's less filing to be done. If there's supplementary documentation that has to go with a report, yes, there will have to be a file made, but that's minimal at this point that I've seen with the new system. And a lot of times what I do is if it's a document that we can get rid of, I scan it and add it to the file to the report, and it's attached to the report directly. So if I go into send that report and all supporting documentation to the state attorney's office, it's all attached to the report. Photographs can be attached, video footage from the cars can be attached. So there's really no, we have to keep originals under certain circumstances. Because if it's a written statement or something like that, we have to keep the originals. But as far as printing the report to go with that original, those original statements or any supporting documentation, we don't really need to do that because we can always, minimal chance. We would never have to go back and get those originals unless we go to court, unless we went to court and the prosecuting or defense attorney asked for the original.
Well, all I'm going to say is if we don't put anything in there in the budget and police, the last thing any of us want is for you to sit there and work 90 hours because now you are doing more things than administrative assistants should, and then you get burned out, or you're spending any time that should be done by administrative assistant on tasks. But if it's here or there 5-minute things, then I understand and it makes sense to just forget it. But
Well, I can go back, I can type up, I can put a list together of a few things that somebody could do, but I don't think it's gonna be the amount of hours that we put in last year's or this year's budget for somebody to do. Maybe half of that, maybe, I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll
try to
put
get your arms around that, because this is the first iteration of the budget. There's gonna be more. It's never it'll never be the final one, unfortunately.
But I just wanted to bring some of these things up. I mean, we've gotten numbers from Sally Huggins. They're supposed to be close, and I know Julie did some number crunching on what IMR benefits are going to cost, Medicare, Social Security, all those things. Thank God Julie has the numbers that those are basically based on as far as percentages. I did get the correct number from Sally Huggins about what the percentage is for IMRF benefits. And Julie crunched those numbers and put those numbers in. So I think we have a fairly decent number. I put in, I don't know, Julie, on the sinking fund down at the bottom of that document that I sent you. Did you put the 16 in there in red, or did I?
I don't know about red, but when your original budget, you didn't add it to your budget. I mean, 16,000 was there, but when you grand totaled it, you didn't include it, I think, is what had happened.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why it probably turned red.
My formula is not correct then, huh?
Yeah.
I can reset that though. But that's only going to change. I think it's added into, E2 to E43. So it's on the total number at the bottom for the 2021 budget. It is added in there, but maybe not in it wasn't,
It wasn't on your first draft.
right. So the revised version, the one that you sent, it's in there, and it is added into the final budget number. So.
Are you planning on executive session today to talk about the salary part?
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
So we can come up with a number for that everybody's agreeable to. That's if I can get executive session working on this system. So.
I think there's another line we have to call in or something. We have to hang up and call back.
There
Or
is.
something, I don't know.
But I don't know. I've never used it before, so I'm not sure how it works. So if we can't do it, then we'll just have to do it another day. But yeah, I think the budget is pretty good as the first draft. What do you think, Julie, since you've been the one working with it so much?
Yeah, I want Sally's eyes on it for sure if she hasn't seen it, because she's pretty on top of these numbers too. But yeah, we have assumptions in here that haven't been approved and so forth, but seems to,
Okay. So
it's
you
the
want
starting point.
you want me to just take your revised that we've worked over? I'll add in the line item 553 to get that up to about 3,000, and I'll give it to her and she can look at it. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, but we also have to add in that nighttime pay that we emailed about.
Oh, yes.
So we're gonna have to add that somewhere. I don't know if it was going under police overtime. I don't know what line item it went into, but
I think it went into just the general full-time salary.
okay.
So I'm trying to figure this out too, because I think she had the number of, she had the 75 cents night differential times 222 hours. I assume that's what that is.
Yeah.
So how does that work out? So it's what, is it 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. for night shift, or is it midnight to 6 a.m.?
I have no idea.
I'll have to look at it. Because you figure if you have somebody working 12 hours every day, times 365, yeah, that can't be 222. So, but if you half that, 6 hours at 365, it's still going to be more than that. So maybe I'll have to call her and figure out how she got that 222 number out of there.
Well, it's 22 nighttime hours per pay period. That's what, 2 weeks?
Oh, okay. Yep. And then she multiplied that. You're right.
So that's
So
16, roughly 16 hours of nighttime pay. Is that?
Yeah, so she came up with a number of wage of 166.50 per pay period. So 166.50 times 26.
Yeah.
So that should come up to the number she has listed here.
Yeah. So we have to add 4329 to full-time salaries.
Yep,
And
that's
then
all you.
add a little bit to the cell phone line. And again, keep in mind, this is the first draft. It's probably not going to be the final.
Well, what I'll do is I'll add that number into the full-time salary. And then I'll add to the cell phone, I'll bump that up to 3,000 for the year. And then I'll pass it along to Sally Bennett.
And then add on line 831 that's for the generator. So the more notes you can put on this, because when it comes to when we have to cut things, we have to have a better idea of what these line items are representing.
All right. I will. You want me to leave your red line stuff in there as well, or no? Okay.
You can just turn them all dark, turn them all the same color.
Okay. All right, I'll do that then. So add 4329 to salaries.
And then put that in the notes too.
Yeah, I will. And then cell phones. 3,000. Okay. Sounds good. I think that we're good for that.
Yeah, then Sally, if you can look it over and see if you see anything that stands out. I focused more on the salary side and some of the benefits and things like that, and then kind of just glance through to make sure year over year they look like they were right. So,
did anyone ever get the percentage increase from health insurance?
8%.
Yeah,
is what Sally Huggins said.
Yeah, that's what Sally Huggins told me. It was probably going to go up about 8%. So I added 8% to our healthcare costs.
Typically the board or the finance committee has me put in the current year's salaries in the line item, and then they have the 1%, 2%, or 3%, on a separate thing from Sally. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's what Sally Huggins told me. She didn't have those numbers currently. She just had the current pay scales, and then their pay period salaries, and then their yearly salaries without any overtime.
Well, she gave you the numbers for 1, 2, and 3 though, Jeff, on that sheet. It says 0.01, 0.02, 0.03, and that just was the incremental amount that you have to add to the salaries.
That was mine. I did that.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, I did that thinking I was going to go back and put the actual numbers in there. I put what the raise would be amount, but I didn't add up for the year. So I don't know what those numbers are. I just knew she told me that, so I put them into my spreadsheets just so I kind of had a reminder what that was going to look like. I didn't total up all the numbers together to figure out what it would be for each person for the year with that amount of increase. I was kind of hoping that Sally would get back to me and she'd have the numbers and I can just add them in there later. But it's just trying to get them all together on that spreadsheet so everybody can understand. It gets kind of messy if you don't spread it out enough where you can see it.
And I'm pretty sure for overtime, Todd used a percentage of just an estimate.
Yeah,
and
can you guys, Julie, can you see that? This is what I got from Sally. I didn't use it because I scribbled all over it.
Yeah, I can kind of see it.
That's what she gave me, and I scribbled on it. Sally, to answer your question, yeah, she had on this sheet that she gave me, overtime allotment was 4%.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what she used. And just so you know, well, maybe you can enlighten me and everyone else. Do you have a expenditure sheet in front of you, Sally? For the police department?
Yeah.
So my understanding that line item 425, the original number was 11,600.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that was put in there due to the past way that salaries were paid, due to the 84 hours and the overtime hours were paid, correct?
No, that's not correct.
Okay.
That was additional overtime. And because that was so confusing several years ago, because there was what we called the embedded overtime. And then this line item was everything above and beyond that, so that it could be tracked.
So I'll take it this way. So the embedded overtime was figured into the regular line item 424,
Yes,
and then this 425 was just basically kind of a cushion, or
Yeah.
just to make sure we didn't go over it. So Julie and I had talked about just combining that line item in with 424, but I'm assuming that with what you just told me, it would probably more likely be standing at leaving a separate line item for that.
right. And in our payroll system, we have it so that it is calculating the overtime that's above and beyond the embedded overtime, because at the time that Todd and I started putting that in the budget, it was being scrutinized by the board.
Gotcha.
It's not written in stone, but I'm just giving you the history.
No,
I
I think,
appreciate that. You know, it was obviously the understanding I had of it was a little bit different than what it really was. So that helps
Yeah.
me understand.
I do
Julie.
think from a trustee standpoint, we should have overtime as its own line item because we should be monitoring that. But what I didn't understand, Sally, it sounds like you said the full-time salary line also it typically has had some embedded, or maybe a realistic expectation of what overtime will be. And then the police overtime is above and beyond that. Is that what you said, or was I confused?
No, I don't know if you were here, Julie. The police used to have their salary combined with regular time and time and a half.
Yeah,
And really that way within their payroll. And so that additional time and a half is what I'm referring to as the
Okay.
embedded time, because it was expected.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so now we have the real blended rate. So that should be in the full time, and then the overtime bucket should be truly what we expect for overtime for the year.
Correct.
Okay, good. Then we're good, Jeff.
Okay. Just so now I think we have a better handle on or better understanding of what that was there for. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Sally.
You're welcome.
Okay, anything else on budget? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to number 9, the policy updates.
So there was conversation I had with Mary Gaziano about Lexapol updates that we receive on a regular basis. And she suggested that the police committee look at these ahead of time before I make any changes to them or whatever, except the new updates for whatever reason. So what I want to do, I didn't send them out to you specifically this time, but I'm going to send them to you probably tomorrow to look at. So when you get them, this is going to be policy 300. It's the use of force policy. And we all know that use of force policies throughout the country and law enforcement are being scrutinized. What's allowed, what can't be allowed. So what the document you're going to see is there's going to be areas of red with a red line through it. There's going to be areas of blue, and then there's going to be areas of just regular black type. The black type is what they want to keep. The blue type is what they want to add in, and obviously the red line stuff is what they want to take out. So I just want to put this out to you guys so you can look at it. Please, if you have any questions about it, let me know. This is a major policy because of what's been happening in the country and the nation recently with law enforcement and the use of force. So there are more policies like this, but this one is not quite as important as what this one could be, can be, or will be. So if there's any terms in here you don't understand, which I think everybody here can understand what's in here, please let me know and I'll try and help you out. But I will scan this document. It's 9 pages. I'll send it out to everybody. You can look at it. If you have anything you see that should not be taken out, or you see things that should be taken out that haven't been taken out, Please send your comments back to me and then I'll review those. I also sent a copy of this version to Mary Gaziano so she can look at it. And if there's anything you guys see that's not right or should be changed, then I'll submit those changes to Mary Gaziano as well when I submit to her for review. But I'm trying to, this is kind of the, I don't know, the test cycle of this, because my understanding, they basically want all these policies to go through the police committee first, which would be you guys, and then you submit it to Mary Gaziano for approval, and then whatever changes to be made are made by someone here. So I will get those out to you probably tomorrow.
All right, we'll move on to number 10, BVP Program Award.
So just got notified, Sally Bennett got notified of this as well. We did receive a grant through the criminal justice system, the Bulletproof Vest Program. We were awarded a little over $1,100 to cover half the cost of Bulletproof Vest. If you recall, I submitted for 3 vests earlier in the year. Those got approved, so we do have that money available when those vests are purchased. We can submit half the cost for those vests to get reimbursed to us for those. So that's basically what that's about. Just want to make sure you understood that we did get that, and that money will be available.
Is there a time limit on that purchase?
2022, my understanding. Yes, I thought about that myself. I hope I don't have to spend it by the end of this year. But I think it's through 2022 we're able to use that. So hopefully we can. I know there's a couple vests. If Randy Smith comes back, his vest will need to be replaced. So that'll be one of them. Hire a new officer, that'll be another one. Then if somebody else runs up to one that's running short on its 5-year lifespan, then we could buy another one. So
I think Richie's might be close to the end of its life.
okay, so we might have another one right now. So, but that's good.
All right, we'll move on to number 11, Chief White's report.
I don't remember what I had in there now. Can't take notes, but I think we covered almost everything. I'm trying to remember what I had on the list. Oh, we're still looking at the cost for getting a large monitor for the squad room. I think about $250 would cover that. Maybe around 300, 350 or something like that. I think we discussed that.
350.
Not to exceed $350, but I just want to put that back out there. We haven't really looked that close at them yet. But that's out there. Yeah, just so I understand, it's going back to item 7 with the computer. That I take it, Mr. Malagranda would have to sign off on that one due to the $1,200 cost. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, just so I remember. You think of anything else for? No.
I mean,
I had a couple things, but obviously with my brain being fried from this week, getting hit pretty hard, I've kind of forgotten what I had thought of. I usually try and keep a list together of what I was going to add. I will tell you that the report writing software works well. I've written enough reports on it lately, so it does work well. Yeah, but other than that, I can't think of anything else I really need to touch on.
If there's anything of importance, you can email it
Yeah, if there's something,
to us.
I'll send it out to you. If my brain freeze lets loose, and I'll let you know.
All right, any new business? I have one, and Julie, I'm going to ask you to do November 9th meeting. I will be out of town and
Okay.
will not be able to attend the meeting, let's put it that way. I might listen in, but I won't be able to vote or anything. So I'm asking you to be able to take care of that. Seeing that you know all the budget and everything, I believe that's what's going to be somewhat discussed during this meeting.
No problem.
Okay,
No problem.
all right, thank you. Any other new business?
Oh, I think I wanted to bring something up. It's something that I saw. Frank just kind of reminded me of with the email he sent out that just let everybody know. Mary Gross is trying to get support for a Veterans Day parade sort of thing. Since the school can't have a Veterans Day program, she has come up with the idea of having veterans drive by locations in their vehicles. November 11th, 10 a.m. Line up at Crossroads Church parking lot, and route is McNair to Benton to Cunningham to Elida. It's just something that I'd like she's all about the veterans, doing something for them, and I think she's hoping that there's a lot of support that comes out for the veterans on that day, and just so you know that's going to happen. I can forward that information to you if you're interested. Like I
Hey,
said,
Jeff,
November.
I guess I'm just a little confused. So they're gonna be driving around, but we can't really gather and wave at them or anything. So what's the?
Well, I would assume if you spread out enough, and if you can't social distance, as long as you have a mask on, you're still within the mandate. You know, I mean, you can be less than 6 feet from somebody as long as you have a mask on. They do it everywhere else, so I don't see why that would be a problem if you did it out in the open. I think she's just trying to gather support for the veterans, and I don't disagree with that. Just so you know that that's happening, so nothing more than that.
Is she bringing that to the board?
She's already put it out to Frank, and Frank, kind of, the email that I got back was saying that he thought it was a good idea too.
Good. Works for me. Go ahead.
No, I'm just, if we try to go into this executive session, I don't know how well it's gonna work. I have not done this before. So I don't know what this requires.
Well,
You just go into, we have to disconnect and reconnect on a different number or the different, she's got 2 meetings on the agenda.
Okay, let me find that.
So somebody has to make a motion to go in and then we have to vote to go in and then we disconnect, I think, and then we go back on this line, a second line.
Make like a 10-minute break.
All right, so we'll look for a motion to go exit this meeting and then go into executive session.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All right, we'll do a roll call. That'd be Julie O'Rourke,
Yes.
Don Kimes,
Yes.
Stan Malagranda, yes, and it is now, 6:26. We will go into executive session then, so,
We're gonna give a few minutes in between, or
yeah, we will,
6:35.
6:35.
We'll come back on the executive side, 6:35, if I can figure out how to get the meeting set up.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
Thanks. Night.
Night, Sally.
Make sure you start the recording.